One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. Sue Thaden is the CEO of From Now On, a brand that a number of you, I'm sure, are familiar with by now. A number of you are working with From Now On with your digital push. And Sue has visited previously on One Question where we talked about a lot of interesting dynamics with her background and her company and how it came to interface with college athletics. And I want to continue that a little bit today, Sue. And I know you've been to a number of industry events, whether it be NACDA or Women Leaders and others, where you are really taking a good stock of who's who around the college athletics landscape. And you have 20 years now of entrepreneurial building businesses from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And I'm interested to hear when you interface, let's say for the first time at an industry get together, whether it be an AD or maybe it's somebody from a marketing team who oversees the marketing and digital portfolio for a college athletic department. How do you relate your story of being an entrepreneur for the last 2 decades to what may be going on in the world of college athletics and what these leaders deal with on a daily basis?
Oh, great question, Matt. I think at the core of our company culture is about creating great experiences for everyone we work with, each other, our schools, the athletic departments, with them as our partner, creating a great experience for their fans. So oftentimes when I connect with leaders, whether it be, the head of marketing, the head of digital, or an athletic director, it's really the more we can do to really understand what their goals are, what their environment's all about. We're really working to connect with people to say, how do we create a great experience? You're doing phenomenal events. You have a phenomenal brand. How do we help communicate that to your fans? How do we help engage people from a ticketing sales perspective, from whether it's trying to increase attendance or try to increase ticket sales or whatever it might be. So really, whenever I connect with anybody, I guess I'm overly curious type of individual. I like to learn about their story and then bring back to them anything we can that helps them do better because we're at the table, achieve their goals a little better, give a greater fan engagement experience because we're at the table, giving them ideas, tools, or even just, sharing ideas together is always really important.
When you go into those types of conversations, is there a framework that you're trying to work through in your mind of the opportunities that they may be, the challenges they may be facing at their respective athletic department? And are there certain, maybe not exact questions, but there's certain information I'm sure you're trying to draw out of them. Is there a specific way you do that from a maybe the cadence of the questions that you ask, or do you feel like you're knee deep enough at this point where that can be purely organic from the get-go?
I would say organic is probably the short answer. However, whenever you're having a conversation with somebody, you're using their time, you're using your time, and you want it to always be valuable. So always going into a conversation with a lot of research. It might be around the program, it might be around the individual, trying to know, kind of have the table set a little bit of, what's the general stuff I can know about this person or organization. And then probably like a lot of us, it's just a giant discovery. What's your role? What are your challenges? What's your current status of whether it's ticketing or mobile strategy or digital strategy or around student engagement? What are you guys doing? So it's a lot of questions just to understand as best we can a good view of the individual's role, challenges, responsibilities, the departments as an athletic department, even the school, because, ultimately we're educating student athletes, and what can we understand about what's going on inside that school that is on campus, being the talk, being the challenge. What are we promoting? What are we doing? Is it a 100-year anniversary or whatever it might be? So a lot of, kind of an organic, I would say, Matt, and then really just a lot of questions to really understand where they're coming from, and constantly thinking, hey, if there's anything we're hearing about, how do we help solve it? What can we give them from ideas or blogs to read or feedback on what we're seeing around the country? Because, we're fortunate. We're working with many colleges across the country, Division I predominantly, Division II as well. And as you talk to these schools and these leaders, boy, we're fortunate to hear some of the coolest things that are going on. And as we know, people in college athletics are generous to share with each other. So we're fortunate talking to so many on a daily basis, because that's what we do, to be able to share that with other schools and say, here's a trend we're seeing. Here's what people are talking about as it relates to cool ideas to create student engagement, or do something unique between buzzer to buzzer in venue only to say, if you're not here, you didn't get the same level of experience.
I'm curious, as a technology company, and I was joking with you before we started recording about how many different communication platforms that I use on a daily basis, from GChat to Slack to Basecamp to email to text. We know so much about leadership can be boiled down to effective communication and expectation delivery to your employees. As a technology company, do you still find yourself delivering a vast majority of those messages to your direct reports face to face? How do you leverage technology to create the right culture?
And I'm a strong believer how we treat each other is how we're going to treat our clients. So you don't pull the curtain, now the front stage happens when you get on the phone with the client. It's just how you treat each other all day long is the same ways you're going to treat your clients. So from a kind of boiling down your question, a couple different ways, and culture is so important to everybody. You want to wake up excited to go to work, and that the culture aligning with who you are as a person and what you're trying to get done is important to make you excited to come to work. But technology, I'm actually a face-to-face or on the phone person. We Slack, we use Dropbox, we email, text, Google Docs. Everybody's just tons of material things to use together. But again, because we all move so fast, and I find you can email back and forth for a long time because neither one's available. But if you can grab that 5 minutes and walk through something or say, hey, I want to make sure you understand the significance of this. And so much of what we do is relationship. So From Now On is a mobile digital platform for college athletics as well as events. And yes, it's technology, but at the end of the day, we're providing service to that marketing person, that the people on campus that are executing these amazing events basically 365 days a year. So we really try to remind ourselves, get on the phone with them, Skype with them, because the conversation actually can be quicker and more effective if you can get on the phone. So I'm a big proponent of face-to-face or just live dialogue, but email is fantastic because you can kind of get to it later if it's not urgent or if it doesn't need a lot of explanation or if it's kind of the teaser to a bigger conversation. I mean, I live in email, unfortunately. You get home, you set it on the counter, and you plow through 2 more hours of it, or your kids go to bed and you plow through a couple more hours of it. So it's just, as we know, critical. It's table stakes to make sure we're being able to communicate that way. But I'm a huge proponent of face-to-face and sitting down with people, because oftentimes there's a background that you're not going to put into an email. And if I can spin this, kind of like you said, a little bit to culture, we really believe in this culture of getting it great. Like I mentioned, we get it great for each other so that we get it great for the schools, and together with them, we get it great for their fans. We work with rights holders. We want to help them get it great for their properties. And at the core of being able to do that, if I go a little bit off on a tangent, it's you got to hire the right people. And so, a lot really bubbles down to, are we hiring the talent that is wired naturally to want to create great experience and be service oriented? Our clients call with a challenge, an issue, or a question. We don't want to let it roll to voicemail. We're like, I can't wait to help them. I got to get that. And when you hire people that are like, I want to get that, I love to help them, I want to solve their problem, you just have an awesome culture that's, based on service, helping each other. When someone's helping you, you go a little further. Gratitude breeds gratitude. And we work really hard. When we hire, we actually follow Patrick Lencioni writes great books, and he wrote a great Ideal Team Player. The Ideal Team Player, it's fantastic. And it talks about 3 principles: smart, hungry, humble. And it's just a great lens to look at when you're hiring people. Also, the people you have, developing them to maybe be a little smarter, self-awareness, more hungry, go after it, get outside the boundaries, color outside the lines, push things a little bit. So our culture is a result of hiring people that want to get it great for others, want to serve, want to high achieve. And then us as leaders continually refueling them with what we mean by great. Everyone that comes into our company goes through, funny enough, front stage, backstage training. And they read the Disney book about, the Magic Kingdom and the amazing things Disney does to create this phenomenal experience for every boy and girl and adult and grandparent that walks through those gates. It's their very first time walking through the gates. Has to be amazing. The sparkling brass, the lights are beautiful. And so as a company, we train everybody when they come on board on front stage, backstage. We retrain it twice a year. They read this book, and we talk about, again, if our culture is getting it great, we need to fuel that getting it great by giving them books and training around service, phenomenal experiences, just making people go, wow, I love them at the table. Their product, we want people to love our product. Absolutely, without a doubt. We get up every day hoping working toward that goal. But we really believe that what we're hearing from our partners on a daily basis and what excites you to be proud is when they say, we love working with you guys. We love you at the table. You bring us ideas. You make this digital world easy for us. So I don't know, I guess from a culture perspective, people talk about the technology in their companies and the tools, kind of like you said, Matt, with all the technology. At the end of the day, our biggest investment, of course, is building technology, but the second is investing in our people to make sure they're growing and they're keeping up and they're challenged and becoming a better version of themselves for, the market challenge that we have next, or we're growing right now very rapidly, and that can be stressful to people. It's exciting, but if you don't continue to develop the people from a service relationship as you grow, they don't grow and scale to be able to give that great service to your clients.
And that's today's one question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.